It's Roos, but it's a different kind of Roos because it's Team Liquid's Dumu. That's right. This guy, we were just talking about this in chat. He builds horse archers more than any other Roos player I know of in 2023 and 2024. So we had to check in when I saw that it was going to be him up against Killjadi on the Byzantines. Because I'm just saying, there's a trade post. And it's not quite horse archers, but there are horse... Oh my God, guys, come on. No. Could you imagine? All right. I know it's not going to happen, but a boy can pray, a boy can hope. If only we could get horse archer on horse archer affairs here. Probably not going to. We're likely going to be looking at the Classico Javelin play right now. But two interesting players to watch, right? I know a lot of people will be familiar with the name Dimu. This guy has a legacy in RTS. Killjadi is looking to build his own. And right now, he definitely has a reputation as by far the most aggressive player from Scandinavia. And I would say second most aggressive player in Europe. Nay, second most aggressive player in the world might be a fair title for him right now. So see what you can do with a Civ that actually got buffed on the aggro points in the game. Remember, the Byzantines actually received some noteworthy buffs, actually, to their early game presence in the timing on their first mercenary contract due to less cost. On top of that, we have also seen Javelins get the absurd, unnecessary, and unintended buff of being able to kill Springles, but that's side detail. I'm sure we won't get to a stage with Roos where Springles come into the picture. Just a reminder for if that does occur, though, because I'm already punting that there's going to be Javelins. It's not as much a punt as it is the correct feeling. There's not really much value in doing longbows here unless you're fully turting. I think Javelins gives you an agency to do things, and Killjadi is the type of player that wants to do things. He wants to attack. Love this opening, by the way. Secondary scout coming out, and Dimu waited for the hunting cabin, which he built even further away so that he could get more gold. But it means that he got his scout slower, right? So overall, if we look at the bounty check here, I don't think he's going to have that much. He shouldn't anyway. 160. Okay, 160 in 2.5 minutes isn't terrible. It's not pogification levels of good, though. And it looks like he's going to get intercepted. That cheeky get Killjadi has now shown up. Now remember, you can no longer animation cancel, or skip rather. So it's a little bit dicey. And wait. Dimu, wait, was that by mistake? Okay, he at least actually catches on, but he missed out on one or two there. Killjadi's trying to mess with him at this stage to try and force you cheeky get. So what's happening here is Killjadi, even if Dimu's looking, sometimes you can just easily misclick when your opponent's standing on top of the deer like that. That was really well played by Killjadi to limit the amount of gold that his opponent got in that area. I think everywhere else has been taken at this stage. Yeah, looks like actually Killjadi did sniff out his back deers straight away. And I don't think we've really got any wolves to speak of here, right? No, it looks like they've mostly been cleared up. I think there's one more being found over here, and then that should be it. So Dimu's what, 230? 235? 250. All right. Perfect. He actually gets the tier 3 bounty. That's really nice. And the other thing's nice about that, between that and the hunting cabin placement, that means that he was able to get wheelbarrow before going for his feudal age. Damn right, Crackety. You know me, I love some Killjadi. I didn't even realize he was streaming right now. Big shout out to Killjadi. Love his streams. But this has to be an absolute banger. I mean, like I said, the moment I saw that it was Roos from Dimu, I was like, this guy plays a different kind of Roos. Everyone else's feels quite similar, but this guy has some wacky builds. So curious to see if he's going to take those pew-pew ponies when we eventually get to Castle. So I've got a very strong feeling that this game will at least get to Castle Age. Stone being gathered already by Dimu, so we are going to be getting the multi-TC approach. Interesting this, actually. He went onto the trees first. So this is an optimal second TC. Okay, no, it isn't. I thought he's doing this to get it up without needing to build a lumber camp, but I guess that's just not doable. But yeah, a little bit surprised he prioritized the wood instead of the stone, because like I think the thought process here is you get the Kremlin up, you gather the stone, and then because the Kremlin's up, you're getting the influence buff to get more wood. I feel like that has to be the more optimal approach to this. Just a little bit surprised that Dumi went the other way around about it. Final sheeple coming in, looking pretty decent, right? 12 to 12, so not too bad. Especially considering you got 250 bounty. Other side of this, Killjadi, he's going to open the racks. Limitane are going to be coming out. Makes a lot of sense, right? Like, The threat is that quite often Roost players will just open with the stables to keep you on your toes. And that would definitely make a lot of sense in this matchup, right? Either 2 TCs or stables, depending on whether you want to try and inflate your eco or dent the more efficient Byzantine one. Because remember, level 2 systems will always be coming in around this time, and that means you're going to be getting a 14% gathering speed buff. Merc House now being dropped. We should be looking at jabs. I 100% think jabs are the way to go. The alternative would be possibly going into, say, Eastern Contract. I say that with great hesitation, though. Western Contract kind of feels rough. Lombos are decent against Streltsy, sure. But Langsneck just don't really play well into Roost comps, as Roost comps are typically Gunpowder and Cav as you go later in the game, right? And then we won't talk about you trying to mirror Streltsy, right? It's a losing formula because of the nerfs to Streltsy's cost recently. So yeah, Silk Road is just the no-brainer. And of course you have layered elements to this case that's quite nice, is when you get into Castle Age, camels are a decent thing to have up against Mass Knighting. So it's actually a really, really good contract choice against the Roost. So Technics, no need for the cheeky Pro Scouts players. I think we are going to see a few more players return into Pro Scouts. Like, the idea of Pro Scouts is pretty cool to try and take all the deer away from the Byzantines, but you wouldn't be able to do the TC straight away because you'd have to actually keep the Byzantine player in his base. Now the question mark is, does Killjoy want to just go into castle quickly? You could apply some pressure with the jabs. Jabs are really nice against secondary TCs because the TC range is abysmal. The javelins can actually just kite the edge and shoot at you pretty freely. But I don't think you long-term want to play this age, right? I mean, Killjoy is a very aggressive player, so I wouldn't be surprised if he tries for a Kara Siphon type investment into the second TC. But for most Byzantine players, their win condition is still Castle Age. Camels give camel support in the late game if you go for an engineering company. I actually wonder if you just do Varangian in this matchup. So you want Palatine School. Any matchup where Varangian is like a backbone of your comp, you tend to feel really, really good about the idea of Palatine School. And this is coming from someone that's a really big fan of foreign engineering company. It can be strong here for sure. Like, I'm not gonna write it off. The extra +2 armor is huge. But the reason it's a bit weirder in this matchup is like +2 armor against the Roost. Streltsy blow your face off anyway, right? +2 armor is not going to make that drastic of a difference compared to having extra units for free. Oh, she's now coming out from Dimmu. And the jabs, I don't know, like that was kind of interesting. Killjoy, presumably he's trying to hide any move out to the eastern flank. He was looking for the scouts, so he walks forward with Limitane. Doesn't have an answer to the initial archers. So feels like a big mistake there. Yeah, your timings are everything as this Civ, and those initial javelins not moving out to do any sort of pressure is a bit worrying to me. Killjoy is starting to stockpile a lot of resources, but how about this for an interesting curveball? We've got stables, and we've got blacksmiths. I think we're getting an all-in feudal. Dimmu's army is about as one-dimensional as a catwalk supermodel at this stage. Doesn't really have any bulk to it. It's just archers and not many of them. Second Jav group's already out. Third one is on the way. Just shows you how much more powerful this mercenary timing is now on the Byzantines. Javs have arrived, so villagers are going to be sniped down. Could easily lose all 4 for this. And indeed, he is most definitely going to. So, Dimmu, not really ahead at this stage when you remember that the Byzantines have got the level 2 system buffing their entire eco. Well, almost the entire eco. And the 20% extra resources in the form of olive oil. Killjoy right now has a better economy. Might not show in some of these areas, but it's the olive oil really is making the difference. The deer are at least keeping Dimmu competitive with this, right? But I'm a little bit worried with the deer running out and now the javelins here. You're going to have to add new unit comps in to break out. You remember when we were like, huh, I really think that we're going to see some Castle Age horse archer spam from Dimmu. And then he just drops triple archery range and says minus the horse. Wait, is he playing another resource? I feel like this food income's way too high. Okay, the deer are just stacked there, I guess. Because this is where this number is going to plummet, right? And you have at least got sheep at home. You have got the increased gathering rate due to the bounty. 10% is pretty respectable. And you have got the 20% extra wood. But the olive oil to me is liquid gold at this stage of the game. It's the ability to field more units quite freely. Not just any units. Javelins really are a premium feudal age unit. Remember, they're the Malians crossbow, and you get them in feudal age. Even more so, the other issue is Dumu's army, once again, lacks any sort of versatility. Kiljadi? Did he just cancel Exploratores? Yeah. I think that was kind of a farm, a misclick. Exploratores is nice, but it's a really quick tech to unlock. You can see here it only takes 20 seconds. There's no need to get it before you can use it. Right now, you need to put all resources into fighting the main army. Worry about the leak over effect once you have an advantage. So Wicked Sky says, 30 archers, in my opinion, beats 12 jabs. That's an interesting thought, apart from the you have to gap close, and there's also 15 horsemen. Wicked Skies, are you that guy that, like, you know, turns up at a gang and points to the scrawny guys like, you, I'll fight you? And they won't let you have that one-on-one? I agree. Like, the archers at this stage could probably take out these jabs quite freely, but they are not getting that fight. All right? Big Timmy and Big John are not going to let you beat up the scrawny kid. Spinman now being added in by Dimmu. Kare Siphon's coming now, though, from Kiljadi. He wants that second TC gone. This is interesting, actually. The horseman wraparound. Have we now got Exploratores? This would be the moment, actually, where you could justify it. I would even recommend Trapezites. You've got 18 horsemen in total. The extra bonus damage on the torch is worth the very, very small investment of 80 resources. Oh, wait. This is Dumu's gold spawn? I thought this was just the neutral map's gold spawn. I mean, this is the nature of Gorge, though. This always happens. It's either gold or berries are on the forward. Sometimes, well, it's either gold or it's stone and berries usually on the forward. You very rarely, rather, get the back spawn luck. Triple Kara Siphon in, though. I mean, you can't kill these quick enough. The TC taking way too much damage. Javelins. Have to back it up. Horsemen are going to commit in now, but the TC's already gone. That's going to be a spread of the lines. Militia have been added in as well. Kiljadi needs to be careful, actually. Taking this fight too long is a bad thing. He's already done his damage. The Kara Siphons are expensive, and it feels bad to lose them, sure, but realistically, you've hit your timing. You've hit your objective. The only way you now start to fall behind is if you take unnecessary losses in the retreat. So TC has been removed from the equation. I don't like the way he's A-clicking the jabs on the retreat because the archers are the thing you need to be targeting here. Kiljadi just needs to wait out the militia and then turn for the fight. Kiljadi about to get another group of jabs coming through soon as well. I do think he played that fight a little bit neglectful. Like, you don't need to contest the militia. You could just ran after the Kara Siphon goes and takes out the TC. But horsemen now wrap around the back, straight towards the archers. Javelins to deal with spears. Kind of comedial, but actually works quite well here, considering there's not enough spears left over. The horsemen at the tail end, though, get shredded by the archers. It's now basically a jab versus archer fight. A 2v1, actually, in this situation. The archer count about double that of the jabs. Production is on the side of Kiljadi, but economy is not anymore. I actually think Dumu's got him. This was interesting, man. The triple archer range spam build. You know, a lot of civs would have had issues with this, but you got to think that this is a civ that has an archer advantage. We saw this with the Delhi the other day versus Voldemar. It's similar here. You don't get an attack speed advantage, but you get 20% more wood. That adds up very quickly in these situations. Dumu is going to have to retreat away now, but with the movement speed as it is, there's no way the Javelins will be able to gap close. Really well played. Behind this as well, look, Dumu did actually take advantage of this to get map control. Well, who was worried about that gold? Don't worry. Benny Boy's got it covered. He actually adds in another town center. That's crazy. If you're wondering just how big the lead was after the tail end of that fight from Dumu, the fact that he was able to still win the fight while gathering for a TC says everything it needs to about the state of this game. I think it says everything it needs to about the state of Rus as well. Holy crap. Now Kiljardi's got a huge miss macro issue. He's sitting over 1,000 gold. Nothing to really do with it. I'm starting to get pretty worried in this game for Kiljardi. Castle Age is kind of your only out now, but the problem is if you're going Castle Age, the time it takes you to save up for Castle, Dimu's going to have a 25 eco lead, and he'll probably be mirroring your timing at that point. So this is a very difficult game for Kiljardi. The best way you can try to get back in this now is relying on raids. The problem is between the Kremlins and the condensed base, it's very hard to get in. Luckily for him, there has been a sneak out in the flank. Unluckily for him, another broken thing about the Rus. They build one fortress, one outpost, and they've got room for all their villagers on their pocket eco. Now, you do pay more for this, but I think the thing that usually gets glazed over that's really important to consider here is that you may pay more wood, but you don't pay more time. An outpost would take a minute. A wooden fortress takes a minute. It's kind of broken when you think about it that way. Horseman. Explorator is coming in, but Dimu instantly reacts. Oh, he is going to try to burn through this. Unfortunately for him, that is a great read by Dimu. Castle turrets is so underrated. This is an incredible tech. All those archer shots coming out are about to increase their damage by 2. It's quite funny to think about the increase in DPS. Watch this. 11, 7, now 13, 9. This outpost is not going to go down. Yeah, outpost is going to be set on fire, but it's just irrelevant. It's not going to die in time. Spin guarantee that. So, an expensive loss for Kiljardi. Now the lead just continues to build for Dimu. Dimu, who has arrived in the farms. And guys, you are seeing that correctly. Kiljardi doesn't have enough jabs anymore. He's had to add in archers. The archers will at least get a good trade up against the spears, but the horsemen are all eaten up and gone at this stage. Dimu is going to eventually have to fall back. Numbers just won't favor you here, but it's just more damage done, more idle time achieved, while you continue to build a villager lead. Now, Dimu's goal should be to very casually cruise towards Castle Age. Don't just immediately cut production. Make sure you're still producing archers. But at this point, your food eco should be good enough to inflate there. You've got berries, you've got boar, and you've got deer. We were having a discussion about javelins and the AI. I actually think the javelins and the way they function against archers wasn't the issue there. I legit think Kiljardi, he had his condition ticked. He took out the TC. But then he hung around for the fight way too long. He lost way too many javelins and cav units unnecessarily. That was not the way to approach it. Faye says that wasn't really micro error, it was just composition. Yes. But like the thing is, in that fight, you get the TC, you get out. No amount of micro is going to turn a fight against that many archers. And what I feel I'm trying to be that guy is like being fair to both people. It wasn't an outright micro issue. It was a composition issue combined with the micro problem being he chose to actually take the fight. So in a way, you're all right. Look at me with the cop-out solutions. Tech up complete though. Dimu, surprisingly enough, hasn't actually aged. Yeah, this is kind of surprising, actually. I think he maybe overburdened himself on reproducing an army. He's got a huge macro issue now into gold. The thing you have to remember is, like, Kiljardi, for all the losses and fights, it kind of shows you how busted the Byzantine eco is because of these olive groves that are very efficient to add in, right? It helped him a lot. However, Kiljardi needs a lot more of these now. The boar is running out soon. The deer are not going to last too much longer. There is a problem in Kiljardi's future here. Now, Dimu has a similar issue, but the beautiful thing about playing with Civ is that gathering rate, system versus the influence, you're better off with the influence of the roost right now. High trade house now on the way on what little remains the tree line. Probably would have liked this a little bit sooner from Dimu. He would have got a lot more trees out of it, but this will still be acceptable. Raid on the flanks. Spiltaurus has been taken, so Kiljardi, this is payday. Woohoo! Show him the money. Veteran Horseman hit pretty damn hard, but Textiles, a good choice by Dimu. This reduces some of the damage. Second Wooden Fortress now coming up. Tech up complete. Now, keep in mind, Dumu is going to take a little while to get those upgrades through. You can't use Dialecticus to increase the research speed. You need to wait a minute. That's a lot of potential ground here. So Kiljardi, what does he do with it? He goes in with the Kyrosiphons. Something that can break the second TC for the second time. Still a bloody big lead to overcome. 20 eco at this stage. Relics are going to make up for that, though. Kiljardi already getting those monks on the move. Cataphracts also being added in is very intriguing to me. Makes sense, actually. He's got Archer's Javelins, so the only thing that can really kill him quickly is Mangonels. Cataphracts are a great answer to Mangos. Dive now coming in. Horsemen in the charge. Archers dive in, and they immediately get intercepted by the militia, so the Horsemen aren't being countered right now. Finally, the Spearmen are going to arrive. Behind this, the Kyrosiphon is slowly knocking down the town center. Kiljardi may have slightly overextended here. Underestimated the power of the TC, underestimated the power of the militia pool there. So has to pull away. But remember, this is impressive by Dumu. This is all before the archer upgrade even came in. This fight should have been impossible for him. Somehow, someway, Dumu finds a way to hold on his own base. And now with veterancy coming through, he should be able to boot Kiljardi back. But it doesn't come without a price. The town center was destroyed. This game's getting crazy. I love it. Kiljardi now just marching the north side. Interesting, he sends the Cataphracts up here instead of into the main base. The Horsemen go there instead. Villagers are going to try and run away. Wait, no. Wait, what? Dumu, he doesn't realize yet. He'll finally pull back to the Wooden Fortress, but some more eco losses up here. Now it just needs to be a hit and run. Kiljardi is outnumbered right now, so you can't hang around for the rest of this fight. Dumu is now switching up in a men-at-arms. What concerns me greatly is the fact that it's not just a few Cataphracts. Kiljardi is building more Cataphracts. I'm not sure why. Like, maybe his thought process is I can raid this game out, but it's Gremlins. Gremlins can spawn out and ruin your day every day of the week. I guess you can just trample past them, so it's not the end of the world, and you are incredibly tanky. I ponder why you would ever choose Cataphract over Varangian right now. I mean, Varangian would decimate this army. Sure, there's crossbows on the way, but Varangian plus Javelins feels like an unbeatable comp right now. Weird that Kiljardi is just completely forgoing it, though. Cataphract raid. That's at least the one value point I could give and praise these Caddis for. They are going to be on the economy and not easy to resolve, even with 1 or 2 militia pools. Kyrosiphon is now going to move in for the Wooden Fortress. The base dive shouldn't really kill Kiljardi here, but it might kill some of his economy. See a dive behind the TC. Cataphracts on the other side continue to do damage. It looks like the raid has almost been cleared up, but damage most definitely done. Dumu now less than 20 villages ahead. And when you remember that over time these system levels are coming in and the relics are being added in, you could actually make a fair argument that Kiljardi economically is pulling ahead. The high trade house might be the one X factor. It was a bloody good one with 173 gold. But outside that, everything else seems to be going the way of Kiljardi. Double mango now on the way. These come out very quickly if you have the system in range, which... Oh, come on. Does he really not? On the very edge. Unfortunately, it's only going to be 1 mango in time to deal with these archers. And there are actually 4 men-at-arms here, so very dangerous. The moon is going to have to run, though. Oof. Luckily, it was only the 1 mango. 2 would have killed him. All right, one's if we're going to Imperial Age. Because I'm getting this funny feeling that in the next 2 to 3 minutes, any minute now, we're going to start seeing walls built. And everyone's just going to nod their head and say, let's go Imperial Age. It's starting to reek of one of those games. Kiljardi now switching to Horseman. There's my Ben boy. I wondered when he'd show up. It took 25 minutes, but we're actually getting Horse Archers. And here come the walls. Oh, man. I didn't expect it at this point in the game, but actually, when you think about it, horse archers are pretty good at dealing with cataphracts, right? High base damage, more movement speed. Catus can't really easily like gap close you, let alone stick to you. Nice little raid from Dumu. I just realized, actually, Killjoy has a big issue with his spawn. All of his gold is on the one side. So if this becomes a focal point, you can be disrupted. You can be completely starved for gold. Meanwhile, like, Dumu's spawn is a lot better, right? He's got gold north and south, so he has options. Now the question becomes, who's favored in Imperial Age? We kind of glazed over this a little bit earlier. The Byzantines are actually pretty good in this matchup in Imperial Age, with the idea that you can play into mass javelins to try and like whittle away at the Streltsy, and then you can play into Varangian to try and break the front line. It gets a bit dicey from an from population efficiency point though, in that if Rus reach critical mass with Streltsy, javelins aren't going to win that. Javelins overall will just do less damage, even with all their bonus damage considered when fully upgraded. So that is a worrisome detail, and we are heading there. Dumu, he's pulled the trigger. High Armory is now on the way. And completely out of position. Killjoy seems to have misread the situation here. He has to stand his ground, and he's not going to like it. Brilliant dodge. Dumu immediately knows where he's being targeted, pulls away just in time. And it's going to be a leak around now. Saint's Blessing coming in to make this all that much quicker. Mangonel is going to be taken down. Killjoy is going to lose his front army. And there's raids already on the way to the back as well. I mean, dude, this actually just might be GG. Killjoy, his military is now smaller. He's about to be an age behind. He's behind on the economy. I gave a lot of praise to the idea of systems and these relics, but even those have their limitations, and Age 4 will be that limitation. Siege can immediately start pumping out. I mean, you could be looking easily at 1-2 bombards to start blitzing the base. Killjoy needs to defend. Spearman there to meet the cavalry, though. I don't feel like this is the absolute stomp you need. Dumu is going to have to retreat, but he's got plenty still to defend with. Killjoy needs to find eco damage. Aging up probably kills him here. At least unless he's able to do something substantial to the villager difference. Because if you just back away now, like the reality is you're going to allow the Streltsy mass to scale up to 15 or 20, right? So like you actually legitimately need to attack before the numbers get too big. I think the problem is Killjoy might just be paranoid about the losses. He lost a lot of units on that attack. Probably doesn't feel like he's got mass to do it now, and that's bad news because it means when you do age up, when you go into this Age 4, Streltsy count should be at what, 25, 30? And the other thing is Dumu is pretty deep on farms, right? You can see from the consistent 2.4k food income. He has a farm count of 43. Natural transition point here is to go Horseman. And yes, High Trade House is not affected by the maximum amount of gold you can get from hunting cabins. So High Trade House is not going to take 173 off of your 500 cap. So you can actually just spam High Trade. Like, you can actually spam hunting cabins on this map. It's actually a very good map for Rus for that reason. There's just so many small tree lines that you can take advantage of. And Dumu hasn't opted to do that. Has got plenty of gold still to work with. And in fairness, until this point, I'd say his comp didn't really require much gold. Now that it's on Streltsy, it might be worth considering. Palatine School. Boom! Oh, man. I'm just going to, like, you know, I don't often get to seem smart, but I did predict this literally 30 minutes ago. It's logical in this matchup. You can't play Foreign Engineering Company. The reason is that the siege serves no purpose due to the fact that you're up against the shuttered triggers plus banded arms springalds. You'll always lose in siege. And then on top of that, the unique tech upgrades. Precision training is pretty nice for jabs, great, but you know the other element, this whole idea of the +2 armor from the camel support sounds great until you realize that like it's not as if you're fighting up against Abbasid spears where 2 damage is a lot. Percentage-wise, 2 damage being negated off of a 35 damage unit almost feels irrelevant. That means we should finally be getting into Varangian. But what worries me about that, folks, is that means he hasn't actually got the veterancy ready to go. Because his priorities are on the contract right now. So we're not immediately going to see elite upgrades coming in. We're not going to see elite army tactics. The play by Killjadi is so he can fight a few minutes in Imperial Age. But right now, he's about as weak as he's ever going to get. Dumu only getting stronger now. 22 Streltsy. The Mangonel Towers are going to at least be a nuisance. That'll slow him down a bit. Funnily enough, Dumu actually completely forgoed going into a bombard. I'm a little bit surprised by that. So it means actually he can't just dive this base right now because, funnily enough, these Mango Towers are infuriating. Mango's for real coming in as well. Farms are starting to get blitzed though. And Killjadi, well that is... What? He's building horsemen. I'm wondering if now he just doesn't feel like he can go Varangian, and the logic is Limitane makes a lot more sense, right? Like, you're actually reducing a lot of this Streltsy damage that way. And also, it's pretty nice against what presumably would be a Horseman follow-up. But that Horseman follow-up's not coming. So, like, right now, Killjadi doesn't actually have a unit comp that makes sense for Palatine School. That continues in. Springhold's we had to trade out. A little bit of overkill there. Dumu, I really wish he just added in a bombard here. Yeah, agreed, Faye. Well, the thing I was saying about the Palatine School, what may make sense for the Rus matchup, is that for this matchup, like Varangian or Limitane makes a lot of sense, right? We already mentioned that the idea of the camel support isn't that great against Streltsy, but the idea of actually getting the extra Varangians or just getting into your Limitane with shield wall against Streltsy is decent. There you go. It's going to be Varangian. Yeah, he should just sell the olive oil at this stage. It's something that's very easy to forget unless it's part of your strategy. Like, we've seen some people do fast castle builds by selling olive oil. At this stage, like even at the 70 gold, it's probably worth it. Because you're flowing 3,000 olive oil. Like, you know, either build 1 million mercenary houses or sell it. I think the issue is they've got nothing to spend olive oil on. But he has grenadiers, Faye. Notice that Faye said javelins and camels do not scale well. There was one specific unit she didn't mention there. Wait a second, please don't do that, actually. Jesus, he doesn't even have teardrop. He's doing it! Oh my god. Please tell me they haven't all been queued up in one mercenary house. Oh my god. The Grenadier defense. You didn't know how much you wanted to see it until you saw it. I mean, Dumu is actually diving into a choke point here. So Grenadiers can actually do a lot of damage. That Mango Tower has done a lot of damage. Dumu feels like he's going the hard way about this. Man's allergic to bombards. He actually has been pushed back. What the hell? But guys, wait. He needs to complete this outpost and then it's GG. Oh wait, guys, no, it's fine, guys. He's got another Mango Tower over here. All right, we chill. Killjadi's about to turn this into an hour-long game. Dumu, still allergic to bombards. And now he's being pushed out. I mean, like, militarily, these numbers are deceptive. Killjadi has everything here. Dumu does not. He's got half his troops missing from this fight. Streltsy numbers are getting fairly dented. Varangian. Oh, he sprung that perfectly. As soon as the lines get thin, he brings in the angry boys. Second wave of troops is going to arrive for Dumu. Sacred sites have now been locked in. At least Kiljardi's finally spending the olive oil. I don't think it was worth it, but anyway. Yeah, I'm not gonna hear anyone defend Grenadiers. They suck. I know someone's gonna be like, oh, he won that fight because of Grenadier. No, he didn't. He won that fight because of javelins and mangonel towers. Oh man. We've even got siege crew training on the way. Wow. Okay, you don't see that often. Which is interesting as well, because like he's just building rams now, not mangos or bombards or trebs. You do you, King. It's at least something to start deleting these buildings. That's what he's been missing. Palatine School to be taken out. Kiljardi, I think it's fair to say that the longer we get into this Imperial Age, the more it's looking like a misclick on the Palatine School. I like the idea of it in an equal game for the Limitane Varangian flexibility, but this game is nowhere near even. And I think this is one of the sucky things in this matchup. You go Javelins, but if you let it reach Imperial Age, I don't think you can beat Rus. Because the problem is the Springolds. You'll never be able to beat their Springolds on range. So if you play into the Foreign Engineering Company, you need to build mercs. And as Faye was saying earlier, like Javs, Camels, really what do you want to build there that feels good? There isn't anything that feels great. And this does not feel great either. Rams are literally moving in as you're building a keep. That is going to be enough. GG gets called. Real question, Kiljardi, was it a misclick?